Live now. Welcome, everybody. Today, we were supposed to do a late night talks and a Nargirl, me, PB, we're back. We were going to have Chris in, justinproper in, give you guys a proper late night talks. Unfortunately, the fearless co-host, the Bear, is having some issues. So I promised him the really juicy articles. We were going to wait to get everybody's hot takes together, as we did. So Chris is like, Zod, I've missed your brilliant knowledge. The DC is on the rise again. We have to talk. We have to talk because I just missed you so much. And I was like, hey,
I might have said that.
I got you. So we're doing this off the cuff. We're just gonna free ball this. I have no subjects, no topics.
Two guys in a room together like this. We do not mention free balling.
Hey, and I'm in the dark. So anyways, we're doing this shit off the cuff. So first off, the thing I've been dying to talk to about fucking anybody who's watched this show. What do you think of the new supervillain that they just released, Ironheart? The villain origin story for Ironheart. No, you haven't watched the last episode.
No. I know what you're talking about. I watched up to part of the last episode, like the first two, and then it was like 3 a.m. when I got through like part of the third one. I'm like, damn, I gotta be at work tomorrow morning, or this morning is when I started saying. I was like, I gotta at least get an hour of sleep, maybe.
So let's do a mini review of this first. And I'm going to give you my overall thoughts because I've been meaning to rant about this, and I'm going to do my own Ironheart video. I had to fight a copyright claim for my Penny Dreadful video, which I had to cut down to like 7 minutes. Fuck you, CBS. I was actually promoting your show. But anyways, I wanted to say something. The first 3 episodes dropped, and I didn't make a review because when the critiques came out, the same thing, Chris, we always see. The racism, sexism, Riri's on a redemption arc. However, when these last 3 dropped, the talk got quiet. And the talk got quiet because at no point in this show, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you have watched the same episodes I've watched up to this point, I'm not giving the ending away, but from just 1 through 5, this bitch does nothing heroic, nothing. Everything this character does in the show is solely motivated by her own personal wants and needs. And I'm a villain. The very definition of a villain is what, Chris? What does a villain always do that makes them different from the hero of the story? Just basic writing.
Monologue and be inept. There you go. Which is perfect for you. I mean, perfect. But I mean,
okay. I'm talking. All right, let's take this to the actual Jarzad. Yes, there's monologuing, but a villain is driven by what?
It is driven by personal wants, needs. Well, not necessarily needs, but wants for sure. It's more wants, not needs. It is introspective, not extrospective or anything like that.
Yeah, I got where you go.
I get the idea of what you're trying to say here, and I don't know if really we're at the point yet where we need to say she's a hero. Her intent in this is to complete this suit and to have the suit fully functional the way she wishes, because that is how she sees she can help people. So this is the process to get to there, and I'm not sure she's there yet. So this whole series is almost like the cave scene in Iron Man. This is
no. Don't you dare insult Iron Man like that.
I'm telling you, this is a long form of that in a way. I'm not gonna. It's not exact. And again, I've pointed out on our own roundtable on Chaos Central, I've pointed out that they have done, I think, a proper job to definitely show the differences between her and Tony Stark, and why Tony Stark did what he did, and why she claims. Now, granted, yeah, it is very selfish. Everything, and the reason why it's, I mean, and granted, yes, superheroes can have something happen. Like Clark Kent vows to not let other people die and to save other people because of his father. Hello, how you guys doing? So I get that it's very selfish, but I'm not really sure if we're at a point where we were supposed to see anything other than that. But I mean, I haven't finished watching it, so I mean, but I do see where you're coming from.
Five episodes of a 6-episode arc, you still don't see anything. And then the last episode, I'm telling you, the last like 10 minutes will cement the fact that this bitch is not a hero. She's a villain. She's the fucking villain. Even think about the whole thing, okay? And I've heard the stupid comparison. Well, Tony Stark was selfish or whatever. Yes, Tony Stark's vain. Tony Stark talks a lot of shit. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes through his performance and through his actions that he indeed values human life and genuinely helping people. Riri does not have that arc. I'm sorry. Not once. She literally kills a guy in like episode 3. She locked that guy in willingly, and I heard that she had a panic attack. No, she had 5 seconds to grab him, and she turned and left and let the door lock.
She and he. Wait. She and he both were starting to have problems breathing and moving. Hold on. They were having problems moving, breathing. And the AI flies the suit in, puts her in it, and then starts to walk away. I think the AI did that. I don't think that was her. Now, granted, again, these are these moments, such as, think of Spider-Man. When Spider-Man just lets the crook go by, and it ends up costing him something. Did he kill his Uncle Ben? Well, you could say he did, because he didn't stop the guy.
Not even the same thing. Not even close.
I think it is.
No, because he made a choice he didn't realize had a rippling effect. That's part of his arc. Riri had seconds, and it was not the AI, because the AI gave her back control. I rewatched the scene twice for my review. The AI gave her back control, and she hyperventilated, and then she said, "I'm sorry, he's gone." So no, she willingly killed that guy. She almost got the cop killed, except for the hood. She just shot the dude in the shoulder, but that scene could have played out where that cop would have been killed too. So she would have had 2 bodies. I'm telling you, Chris, this is not a hero super story.
And saying that. I'm not saying it's
like almost watching a villain who they're trying to prop up as this hero. And even the marketing would promote this to get you into thinking this is a hero story, but it's not. And I could see why they scrapped it. And look, Chris, you might be right with some of your takes. I could see what you're saying, but you're pulling out shit they did not show on screen. The editing is terrible. The voice work is god awful. The acting is, I apologize to She-Hulk, because that makes that show look like a fucking masterpiece in comparison to this. This I fell asleep to. She-Hulk, I was too pissed off to fall asleep. At least it drew me in with something. This show is boring. The parts that are highlighted, they shouldn't have focused on. They do the whole, they try to give her this oppressed nature, but she's there on the Tony Stark grant. My favorite part was when the teacher called her out on her bullshit and said, "No, you're getting kicked out because of what you did." She was fucking fraudulating fucking papers and giving people tech. Like, Chris, this is a terrible show. I know you have this thing for defending bad shows. This is god awful. This
is not as bad as She-Hulk, but then again, I think She-Hulk, the problem with She-Hulk was not that.
The problem, She-Hulk could have been good though. This show could never have been good. She-Hulk.
I don't have a problem with this show so far. I have to see this ending though, because I mean, again, so far I don't see anything. Again, I feel like this is just a long scene. And maybe that's what I meant more by the cave scene in Iron Man. I was trying to say This is more like that whole scene playing out in 6 episodes. So it's very long format. And, they throw in a heist or two here. Again, the fact that they even tried in the 3rd episode to rob that greenhouse place, when the worst part about that is when the Hood's sitting there on the raised platform with the CEO, and the guy, he's like, you're going to sign this, and he says, I'm not going to sign it. It's like, you already know you have nothing on the guy, so why would he sign it? Why would you even bring that up? If that was very horribly done. And then what does he do? Because he knows he has nothing, he kills the guy. It's like, wait a minute.
When I say bad show, Chris, when I say bad show, I don't just mean conceptually. I think this is bad because I read Riri comics, and let's be real, nobody fucking less than Captain Marvel people hate Riri more, I would say, because she was a direct replacement for Iron Man back when they killed him off, and then her run was so fucking short, they cut it short and they brought Iron Man back. But my issues is not just from a acting, which is terrible across the board. That poor Han Solo guy needs to get a new fucking agent. That guy's been just thrown into the worst fucking productions ever. Actually, to tell you the truth, I wanted to just see a show about his character. Because you found out who he was, right? He's Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man. Like, that, he was more interesting to me. Like, I want to see that arc. I want to see him go from this, like, shy, everybody shits on kind of guy to becoming like his father was, even though he's trying not. Like, that was the arc that interests me.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know that the name that he chooses, Joe, whatever, and the fact that he's Obadiah Stane, that's from the comics. But if I remember right, he was never, like, he was always out to be a villain.
Yeah.
He's
Disney thing.
Tony Stark because of what happened.
Yeah, and he was always a villain.
So I wasn't against that, but truthfully, again, I know it's Mephisto. Okay, I know that's where they're going with this. I know it. Okay, I did not spare myself spoilers for this because why? But there were probably a million other better places to put Mephisto.
Oh my God, yes.
This. And if you had left him out of that, I mean, again, a lot of people thought something like WandaVision or
that would have been the perfect, because Agatha and Wanda are directly connected to Mephisto.
Exactly.
I didn't like the show that much, but Agatha all along would have been another great way where she could be like, I got out by making the deal with
because Mephisto. The amount of magic that they played with in that I would have said that was where they should have done it, because he's not Loki, he's not a trickster, but he's mischievous and he's cruel and ruthless.
Well, no, basically he's the MCU's devil, because he is the devil.
Yeah, but that's why he's called Mephisto. But I think they could have cut him out of this. I mean, maybe a tease. One, we know that I can't remember the name of the type of oh shoot, I can't even think of that. The type of oh God. Anyway, I forget exactly the hood. It's not from Mephisto. The power from it is a goblin or something like that he steals it from. He kills that entity and gets the hood from in the comic books, and I can't remember the exact name for it. But I would have left it like that. I would not have tied. I'm assuming they tied Mephisto into it, or like that, or something. I don't know. But I would have, even if Mephisto had been in this somehow, I would not have leaned into it as heavily as it sounds like they are. I would have definitely preferred the Obadiah Stane thing, because there's precedence for that.
And it's tech on tech. Like, they reference Tony so heavily, it to me
Yeah.
made more sense to have Ezekiel just a straight up villain, or maybe they're friends and they
Well,
still do the same arc where she screws him over, and then he says, "You're just like Tony," and they
yeah.
have a rival.
Well,
Like you could have done it 15 different.
unless, and was my idea with that.
Hey, what's
He
up?
Because she was helped out by Tony Stark and the Stark in this timeline, because again, remember, Tony Stark's dead. So in this timeline, it would make sense that he befriends somebody who's trying to work on the same thing, but he does it for a nefarious purpose. So he acts like this bumbling idiot to give her tech, and then says, "Don't screw me over. I can't get caught for this." But he knows she's going to. Like, he's just so certain, and that's his way to then reveal himself to her. Like he's playing with her. If they had done that and left him as the villain, I would have liked that. Like where he was playing her the whole time, and he could have done that. He could have been like, "Listen, you fell right into my trap. I gave you everything you needed to mess up, and now I can come out and show you who I really am." And at that moment, bring out one of his own suits or something. I don't know.
To tell you the truth, anything would have been better, because at the end of the day, and I don't know if you noticed too, and this was confirmed later, I've read some articles, there were some heavy cuts and reshoots in this, and I could fucking see a lot of this shit that shot is choppy. The acting is terrible. I fucking hated this show, and by the end, I'll be honest with you, this will be on shameless plug, my top 10 worst movies. I'm also including shows this year because there's some fucking terrible ones, and this one is pretty close to number one. There's one movie that's still beating out everything that I don't think is going to outbeat it. Snow White, of course. I don't think that's going to be anything. Anything's going to beat how terrible that movie is.
What I don't get is, so in the comic books, the biological implant thing that he does is what takes over him. And in this, it's Mephisto or the Hood that messes with it, that causes it to start to take over, right?
Yeah, he like hacks him. It's some stupid shit. It's a very long, roundabout way that they still do a lot of these storylines.
Yeah, because if I remember right, his story is kind of how they played Doc Ock in the second Spider-Man, where the tech kind of infects him and takes over, and he doesn't have as much control over it, and it kind of talks to him and makes him evil. That's what I always got from the comic books.
Yes, and
I don't just let he put the you had that right there. You could have kept with the and I said that for the first 3 episodes. I said, I'm noticing that they're not, of course, in Marvel and DC both don't follow comics exactly, but they were following certain formats. Parker had John, and that is from the comic books. His best friend John is the one, and I think they even show in one of these the last 3 episodes him and John and how he got the hood, right?
Yep.
And so that is kind of from the comic books. It's not exactly the same, but it is similar. And so there's things about this that they were really kind of keeping on track. So why change Ezekiel? Because he already put the stuff in himself. You might as well just follow straight with the way that the comic books did it, that it takes over for him, and then he shows up, and it's not anything to do with Mephisto. Again, I think like I said, I was starting to get, well, I drank a bit too, so there was that. But I seem to remember he says something about thank you because she lets him loose of the control and resets it or something.
Kicking him in the balls, by the way. I don't know how that.
Yeah. Well,
that
I
was
don't know.
Fucking. This is what I.
Woman power.
This is what I mean by bad writing, just in general.
But she resets it, and he says thank you but we're not going to be friends.
Yeah, and he says, I'm going to come and find you.
Exactly. So why are we going to take away what made Ezekiel Stane in the comic books, which is that the biotech infects him? Why don't we make that what happens? He somehow gets caught up in the Mephisto stuff and can't get out. She saves him and says, listen, I'm going to give you this one time, but I'm out. But I'm coming after you. That's what he should have done. I don't know. Let's be honest. Marvel has a hard time landing these series, and they've tried.
They never got off the ground, at least to me, in this series. It never fucking left the airport.
Here's the thing: they constantly are trying to play with it, where they either release one at a time every week, release 3, release 2, then 1, then 2, then 1, or whatever. They still don't get the whole television thing. And I mean, I'm not saying DC was any better. Some of the CW stuff's okay, but it's like,
I'm not even talking CW. Just look at their other stuff. Like Creature Commandos was fucking fantastic. Actually, the wife loves that show. She loves Bride of Frankenstein. That's probably like her. She had no clue about any of these, and that's where I'm saying the brilliance of James Gunn. Now this is going to be the big test. James Gunn is very interesting director because he's good at doing the unknown, less talked about characters. Where I get worried, and I'll give you some credit on that, well-established characters like Superman, this is going to be a big test because James Gunn is a very particular director. Yeah, and you either like his style or you don't. And he's very good with the oddball, out of the box, nobody really knows characters and making them interesting. But you're talking about, and I really wanted to discuss this with you because I'm excited about Superman, but you're talking about a very iconic, very important.
I'm not going to give you my thoughts on this. I'm going to stay as far away from giving you my thoughts on this because I have seen it. The problem here, how do I put this without giving away anything or giving you my opinion of it?
Let me just ask you, did you like it or not?
I'm not even going to tell you that. I'm very critical about several things, but let me put it this way. My biggest problems when I watched the lead up to it. One, my first question is they're doing a lot of stuff that feels like they're trying to damage control before the damage has happened. I have not seen for years. Now, this could have been completely going old school on how we do things. They've done it where they've had the main actors and actresses go out and go to different cities and do these huge pressers for this. They have done a lot of different teasers. They've done a lot of different things. These are things we have not seen for years from Hollywood.
I'm actually glad, though, because that could be...
But what it feels like to me is it was damage control before damage happened. Now, my worries before this came out, or before I saw it, was too many superheroes, even if it's for a short amount of time.
I do agree with that.
Two, everything relies on this.
I agree on that too.
He's already shooting other movies. Everything relies on this. 3, if you are so confident, and everybody, he is playing cool, cucumber, ice, everything. Like, I know this movie is going to be big. The problem with that, if it's so big, why is Warner Brothers not putting it up against Jurassic Park on the 4th of July week? Because they could have released it today and reaped the benefits all this weekend.
No, I'm going to stop you right there because I heard this argument. No, let me respond.
Your answer to that argument. Everybody else tells me it's because Jurassic Park would squash it. You don't want to put it up against.
Jurassic Park already did 250 million. Chris, Jurassic Park is not a small thing. People love that fucking franchise.
I know, but my point is if
it's
you're
smart.
so confident,
you don't put two good movies against each other. If you have a free spot where and let's be real, nothing of significance is coming out for at least 2 weeks. Are you going to take that spot or have it cannibalized by the other thing? Because no matter what we think of Dominion or whatever else, those movies made their money.
A week ahead of you. And if it's now good, I know a lot of people are already talking shit on Jurassic Park. Let's be honest, people. It is dinosaurs killing people. Who cares? That's all it is. It doesn't have to be good. People will love it. And this is something mindless. When the first Jurassic Park came out, I can't remember if it was George Carlin or if it was some other comedian, but they said, "Oh, this is genius. For the next 400 years, we can have a new movie every 2 years, and it doesn't matter. It's dinosaurs killing people. Everybody will love it."
It's what we call a popcorn. It is by definition why we have popcorn flicks.
If people say that go watch Jurassic Park, it doesn't matter how good Superman is. They'll still go see it. So you might as well have gone up against it now and gotten in early, gotten the hype up, and just barreled at them. Because now you are giving them $250 million before we're even in the weekend. And you are already giving them all the ammo they need to cut into your profits. You might as well try to go head to head with them, because if your movie is that damn good, people are going to say, I know you like the dinosaurs. Wait to see that. You have to go see Superman. That's my issue.
I think that's ridiculous.
Oh, it isn't. That worries
that's not
me.
How box office works. If you have two big movies,
for years, movies have said, I don't care. It is the 4th of July weekend. We're going. Now, these are some of my worries. And all of my worries were answered in one form or another. I did not hate the movie. I will tell you that. But then again, I liked The Flash. I did not like the way that the graphics looked. In fact, I went to see that about a month before it came out, and the only thing they didn't show us was the reveal of George Clooney, his Batman coming back. They cut it right there. And they didn't show us any of the end credit stuff. And I thought when I watched that, I'm like, okay, the graphics are a little wonky, but they're going to fix that. They're going to fix that, aren't they? I loved the fact that they showed the Nicolas Cage part of that. I loved the fact that they brought back Christopher Reeve.
My reasons for not liking The Flash, the one main reason is Ezra Miller. And even if it wasn't him personally, which I do take very personally, his running looks fucking ridiculous. Me and Pee-wee always make fun of, dude, he runs so fucking terrible. Like, look at the Flash show, and it's a fucking CW show, and then compare that to the Flash movies. I think even the CW show, the run, much better.
Their Crisis on Infinite Earths, I hate the CW. I actually like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I did too. That was the best thing the CW ever did.
I love the people they brought back, the fact that they brought back Knox and other people. I loved the attention to detail. Again, it's still CW. It looks cheap, but the attention to detail in those things. And that's what I do give CW. I'm not a big CW fan.
Damn it, Mandy. Good to see ya.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Hey, how you doing? So the Phoenician scheme, I'm kind of interested in that too. But here's inevitably in Hollywood, the people who wait lose. And my worry for this, because again, I love DC 10,000 times more than anything Marvel has. And I'm not talking about the movies. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm
Hold
talking
on,
about
wait.
if you
That's
back
the
up.
only reason why you still fucking come back to the Phantom Zone. Because me and you, I feel like kindred spirits, like you get it. Because, okay, so here's my thing. I want this to pop off because for years we've had, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say a bold claim, Cotton. I'm going to go see this movie, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the Fantastic Four is going to do as well as people are making it out to be.
No,
I'm going to be honest.
surprised if
Historically, and with the shit they've been saying off to the side, and I know only we follow that, but I'm just saying, historically, just in general, the box office, I'm talking numbers now, people, or statistical facts. Even with Jessica Alba and the fucking dude from The Shield, their box office for Fantastic Four has been abysmal, just historically.
I'm good. I said, okay, here's the thing right now. I think Marvel is at a plateau where 300 million is a success in their eyes right now. Because again, when you've made so many of them, 300 million, let's take it in. Because remember, the numbers we see, and I fight this all the time on Chaos Central when I'm doing things about, is it a success or is it not a success? The numbers we see do not take into account the rebates, the kickbacks, and the tax refunds or whatever that they get because they shoot in one area or next. So truthfully, when we see this, if we say, oh, you got to make 3 times the amount the movie costs to make, truthfully, if you hit what the movie says it costs to make, you're probably making money off of it. Probably.
Yeah, because you have the sales, digital. There's so much more shit they're making money on.
Nobody to this day, even still, nobody has ever truly explained how do you take streaming into account, because
nobody knows.
Exactly, that's the thing. So you could say, well, we lost money, but you may not have. I mean, again, it is a crapshoot right now when it comes to actual numbers. But I'm going to say right now, I think Fantastic Four, the best it can hope for is probably 500 million, and that's being pretty damn. That's pretty optimistic, I think, because again, everybody said it at the end of Thunderbolts. What did they do? They basically told you they're coming, and we know that they're coming.
I wanted to just read out this from Cotton Ministry because this is how I feel, and what really pissed me off about this movie. Says Hollywood has butchered the Silver Surfer over and over again. Fucking facts. And he was a favorite as a kid. Marvel can suck it. And once again, like, look, and I know whenever we say these things, Chris, even with you being a starch defender, I want you guys to know this man is a starch defender of The Last Jedi. Okay. Over the years, he softened his position, but he's still in the camp where he'll die on that hill. And we're not sexist here, but let's be real. I'm just being real with everybody. Silver Surfer is not a fucking female and has never canonically been a fucking female in the comics, except for an alternate universe. One time there was one run. The fact that they're doing this and then they're saying they're going to make Johnny Storm less sexist, which destroys his character. And I'll tell you why. Because the arc is Johnny Storm learns to have humility and be less, boisterous by being a hero. Like, them being heroes and working as a family unit is the point of that comic. And the fact that they want to do all this weird shit and put Sue as kind of like the leader, like, I am only looking forward to this because for once, we're actually going to get a good Galactus. I've always wanted to see Galactus.
So let me say that right there. One, before, when they did the Silver Surfer, they didn't bring Galactus in. Bad news, because that is who Galactus is. He is the, I guess, the mouthpiece, the harbinger of Galactus. He comes before Galactus because he's working for the Galactus. And the fact that those two are involved in this movie, okay, that helps the credibility of it to some extent. Now, I'm going to answer your female side of this. I don't have a problem with it. You know why? Because I don't think Silver Surfer is going to get out of this universe. Here's everything I've read about this, and I have a friend that works at, well, now what is it, 21st Century Studios or whatever it's called now. I don't know. Worked for 20th Century Fox back in the day, and then when Disney bought it, he got in, and he's the guy I got my Han Solo outfit from. All of that stuff. For lack of a better term, here's the deal. Dr. Doom's going to blow up or destroy their universe. They come into this dimension or this universe from their universe. Silver Surfer's not, and I don't know this for sure because he didn't tell me this. I don't think Silver Surfer is going to make it out. So I believe it is that one instant that it was a female. And that universe is going away. It's getting destroyed by Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom follows them to this universe, and that's what leads to the rest of it. Now, if that happens, I'm okay. It's fine because that universe no longer matters. So whatever we see, this is what hurts the movie, though. Here's what hurts the movie. If you kill that universe, then why do we even care? We still haven't learned anything about them. And so I understand your point there. Now, back to my point, though. I am more DC than I am Marvel. I'll take Spider-Man. I was surprised as hell when I heard about Iron Man taking the lead at the beginning of all the Marvel movies. I'm like, who the fuck cares? Nobody cares about Iron Man. And then we watched it. We're like, holy shit. They took a fourth-rate character and made it like awesome. It's like, wow, how do you do this? But listen, DC, you've got Batman, you've got Superman, you've got Wonder Woman, Aquaman. If it's done right, it's great. You got a lot of things you got going for it. And I mean, whether or not you like Zack Snyder or not, doesn't matter. I think that the ideas he was going for was great. I'm not going to live or die on the Snyder Hill. I just want a good movie. I just want good stuff. And everything I see with James Gunn just bothers me because I'm sitting there looking at it going like, man, Batman and Robin, why just stick with one? Why are we doing Supergirl? I mean, originally the story out there originally, and I even read some stuff. The first movie he was going to lead with was Supergirl. And I'm like, why?
I say good because they've always led with Superman. I'm sorry. I'm a James Gunn defender. I think people shit on him a lot. They question a lot of things, and he's earned
the stuff that James Gunn has done. I love all the Guardians of the Galaxy. I was so hyped when Guardians of the Galaxy was going to come out, and I thought James Gunn was the perfect guy for it, and he was. And all of those movies were great. I loved Peacekeeper. I loved this. Well, I liked both Suicide Squads. I know most people didn't like the first one, and there was a lot of problems with that. They cut out a lot of good stuff. Whatever, doesn't matter. But the second one that he did was great too. It was awesome. And the fact that everything I've read has said he's going to keep what's her name for Harley Quinn. I sure hope he does, because God, she is great as that person with that Brooklyn accent. That cracking. It's beautiful. Anyways, I just don't. George Lucas knew when to let go of the reins, but still have his vision, and knew how to find the right people. I just don't know if James Gunn is the guy that's going to be able to do that without wanting to mess with stuff. And then here's another problem I have with Warner or with DC is it doesn't matter who's owned Warner Brothers in the past 30 years. They all want to do their own thing, and they all put their hands into it. And the studio interference has been horrible.
That is true.
I will say this. I still see studio interference. I will say that. I still see studio interference. And I hate it. It's like, because when I saw Batman versus Superman, the director's cut, was it just oh my God, why did they even mess with it? No, it wasn't like that. It was much, much better. But I could see how bad the studio did in doing things. And then you see what they did to Justice League, and then you see his vision for Justice League. And I'm like sitting there going like, Now, granted, I don't think Justice League would have survived as a 4-hour movie if it had been theatrically released. But I still see that his version was better than Whedon's version. But my problem is that DC with Warner Brothers just can't let go. And every time somebody new comes in, they're like, "Well, I'm going to put my own spin on this. I'm going to mess with it my way." It's like, why doesn't Warner Brothers, anybody with Warner Brothers, just say, "You know what? Hey, James Gunn, go do your thing. We're going to look this way. If it fucks up, you're on the hook for it, not us."
I like this one because we're both Star Wars fans here. Dynamite, Mandy says, I think Lucas. No.
I am not talking about when Disney got it. I am talking about when he was in control. And I don't know if you are a prequel guy or if you're an original trilogy person. We're not even going to go into the sequel trilogy. I defend The Last Jedi. I do. I love that movie. But I'm not talking about the sequel trilogies. I'm talking about the prequels and the original trilogy. When he did the original trilogy, he went to Irvin Kershner. Hold on just a second.
But to give you my own thing while Chris is handling it, just to answer you, the Dynamite Mandy, I think that personally, I'm a prequel guy because I saw the originals, but when I was coming up, the prequels were being released as I was older. And I've got a special love for them. I hate Attack of the Clones, but I do think that the Revenge of the Sith is fucking awesome. I love Attack of the Clones. No, I can't. Not, you know what scene? It always fucking throws me out of the movie every goddamn time. Dude, that is out of bad lines.
I'm getting to that. This is what I'm going to do. He got to Empire Strikes Back. So goes to Hawaii with Steven Spielberg and says, "Let's write this Indiana Jones thing. I got this great idea for another serial." And since Star Wars is going to be a flop anyways, because he was sold that it was going to be a flop. He just knew in his heart of hearts it's going to be a flop. Nobody's going to understand this. They're not going to go with it. That's why he wrote it that way. Star Wars, and I say Star Wars meaning the original, not A New Hope. I call it Star Wars still to this day. Star Wars, he was certain was going to be a flop because if you listen to his commentaries after the fact, he said you were either going to go along with everything and just go for the ride, or you weren't going to get it and hate it. And enough people went along for the ride. He didn't think people would be able to do that.
Unlike Nick Cage.
Anyways, when he got to Empire Strikes Back, so Star Wars, great big hit. He's like, "Oh my God. Okay, well, I got all this money now. All these toys have sold. I've got money in the bank now. I'm going to make my trilogy. So how do I do this? Because I've already wasted the beginning and the end. But I do have this bit right here. How do I do this?" So he took it, but he's sitting there going like, in order to make the middle section of my trilogy work, people have to care. And there has to be stakes for my main characters. But he racked his brain and said, I'm not the right person to do this. So he talked to Irvin Kershner. And after I think it was 6 or 7 times, Irvin Kershner finally said, "Fine, I'll do it." Now, he didn't understand the sci-fi part. He didn't understand the special effects. So George Lucas, as he did with Return of the Jedi, stood on to say, "Okay, I'm going to direct the scenes that have all the extra special effects and all that stuff. I'll take care of that." But all of those scenes that you see, like the "I know" of Han Solo and all of that stuff, was Irvin Kershner. Irvin Kershner and Harrison Ford came up with the "I know." It was not ad-libbed right there, whatever anybody wants to believe. It has been historically documented in a lot of different ways. The Irvin Kershner says, Han Solo wouldn't say "I love you." And that was written by the scriptwriters and George Lucas. George Lucas knew where to give up the reins in the original trilogy. When he came to the sequel trilogy, he didn't do that. And we got a lesser quality trilogy because of poor writing. Because he, and everybody in the world will tell you this, including himself probably, he is not a script writer. Yeah, he was trying to write all these lines and stuff, and that's why we got the sand line. And so that's what I was trying to say, is that when the original trilogy came out, he kind of understood where he did not have the expertise to do things. By the time the prequel trilogy came out, he wanted to make sure everything was exactly the way he wanted, because he had all these new toys and he wanted to make all this huge looking scenes and stuff. But he forgot I could do that with somebody else running this. And I think we would have gotten a better movie if he had played it the same way he did with the original trilogy. I think James Gunn is kind of like that. If James Gunn knows where to let the reins go, this might work. There's a lot of James Gunn stuff going on in this movie. It's Superman. Some stuff I don't think fits for Superman.
What are your thoughts that they switched out the old Anakin for the young one in the end of the movie? Me personally, I don't mind it. That scene is ridiculous in the first place. The no was already
horrible. That's
horrible. Just my whole thing. See, for me, with the Star Wars of the past and the prequel series, and I'll tell you my personal feelings of why I don't like the Disney era versus the prequel era. And the reason is I feel like even though the movies in the prequel series, a lot of them have issues, to kind of answer your questions, even with the whole thing with Anakin and Hayden Christensen gets a lot of shit. The dude who was Jar Jar Binks got a lot of shit. But I think that the writing was there. But like Chris has stated, George needed people to rein him in. And I think the execution of some things were done by George that if he had somebody overlooking it, it would have came off better, but the script was still strong. My issue with Disney is it's now come out. They had no fucking plan for this trilogy. They had several different directors, all with different ideas. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of Disney's issues, and this is rearing its head in Marvel, is that there's too many cooks in the kitchen. This is especially with the Disney Plus shows and why we see varying quality. I think that Disney in particular has done this thing of getting a lot of different writers and a lot of different directors. And unfortunately, anyone who's in TV or movies will tell you the best way, especially you see this more with their shows, you need one showrunner. There's like 16 fucking writers and directors in every varying episode if you look at their different lists of who wrote and directed. And now take your standard shows that come out. You could take any of them. It's normally one or two writers and maybe a guest director here and there. All the great shows have that. One person leading a vision.
Well, okay.
And that's the problem you have with Disney right now. They need to pick one person.
Feige needs to be back in complete charge. Because here's the thing. I'm not denying that James Gunn should be in charge of DC. I'm not saying that. But he needs to be picking the people that he thinks are right for the projects. I still don't think he was right for Superman.
I'm going to see it, and I'm going to give my, and then we can do a little back and forth review.
I'm still scared to death for this movie because the rebranding of DC is all on this. And I think that there's a misstep that they didn't do it 4th of July. I
disagree, but we'll see. You could be right.
I'm just saying. I think it was smart. Personally,
confidence or not, it's just smart planning. You can't. They've proved this, and I think it's a marketing thing. And I think it is. Hold on, I've let you talk. Let me finish. They have proved this. They've done this shit constantly leading up to this movie, so I understand what they're doing. where they pitted these big movies that they thought they were just big and going to get their corner, and it wound up one movie cannibalized the other. And sometimes it was studios releasing, same studio, two big movies consecutively. I think it makes sense to spread it out and let one have one day and then collect the rest when you know this movie is going to slow down. Because I hate to tell you, Chris, Jurassic Park doesn't have legs. It will gather its money when it comes out, but once people see it, they go, "Oh, I'm good." That's always the thing, even with this movie.
Nobody's going to watch this twice. Nobody's going to watch
exactly. But twice. Superman, people may watch twice, so you're going to want to give it days. I disagree with you. I'm going to go see twice. I got 2 tickets booked.
All I got to say about this is that we live in a world that if you believe in your product, put it out there when it's going to make the most money. Listen, next week, it's getting at least one less day. And actually, it gets released on the 11th at like 5 or 6 or 7, something like that, I think. At night, Jurassic Park already has a full day coming up tomorrow. I mean,
how it works too is they're going to lose those theaters. Chris, I was in the theater. I know how this works. They're going to lose some of their theaters.
I'm just saying. This makes no sense. I think it was smart. I don't think it was. I think it was a horrible move because if
when Superman makes almost $1 billion, I'm going to say that was a great move.
I said 500 to 750 million.
I'm gonna say $1 billion. I'm that fucking confident.
I don't think so.
I don't think it will either, but I'm just going to say it because let me just ask you one thing without spoilers. I am very curious because we had fucking the worst Lex Luthor as our last one.
Oh, no. Yeah,
Is he good? That's all I need. Because when they casted Nicholas Hoult and I heard just a few lines, I was like, oh.
He reminds me of Smallville. It's a very
you had that's all you got to say. That to me is like
I'm going to tell you right now. I Jesse, what is it? Jesse what?
Eisenberg.
Yeah, I was like, even when I saw that was the choice before I saw it, I'm like, who the fuck puts that nerd as Lex Luthor? Is, you know what? I'll tell you who would play a really good Lex Luthor if you gave him hair. George Clooney. Smooth, sophisticated, confident, and I don't give a fuck. That's you're gonna love this Lex Luthor. You're gonna love him.
Great. That was like because I'm shaving my head.
I was not worried about that. I wasn't necessarily even worried with the story. It's just there's just parts. There are 2 parts of this movie that jarringly do this to me and makes me get out of it. And I hate that. I never got like that with Man of Steel. It's reminiscent of the feel of Man of Steel. So it's not that it's a bad movie, but almost like when Clark tries to go and save his dad, and his dad's like, "Don't." That's the worst part of Man of Steel. It's like,
dude, he could have saved him. That was the part that pissed me off because I was like, he could have saved him.
Exactly. Because the whole difference between that and the original Superman from 78 was that his dad died of a heart attack. There was nothing he could do. That was the whole point. It wasn't that he was told by his dad, "Don't come after me." It was, your dad died. He died of a heart attack. There was nothing Superman could do. He can't use his laser sight and burn into his heart. He can't punch him and bring his heart back to life. There was nothing he could do about that. That was why that version of his dad was so perfect. But then, that's the thing, is that when you do things like this tornado scene, it was horrible. Not to mention the fact that they're all going for underneath the overpass, which everybody knows, don't do that. But it's like, but you'll see. I almost think that you'll be jarred by the same things I was jarred by.
You know what?
It's where I was
can,
like, this is why I don't think he has what it takes for certain movies. Like, if he's in charge of Batman, if he's the director for the new Batman, this is done. I'm not sure if this is done before it starts. I'm not going to go that far, but I don't know if this is enough to jumpstart it again.
Well, I am going to be very curious. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on it, but I kind of want to switch gears. Let's talk about something I've been meaning to bring up.
I have to run for a second. I can jump on my phone if you want me to. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
All right. So you keep talking. I'll be back.
All right. So just so you guys know, a little sidebar thing I want to bring up. Sandman season 2, the final one is coming out. I will be doing a review for that. Chris is going to do something. I don't know what you guys think. Justin, check your Twitter. I put an invite in there for you. But season 1 of Sandman, I was very impressed by. I actually believe it's probably one of, I was rewatching it to prepare for season 2 coming out either tonight or tomorrow morning, the first of the parts that they're doing. I hate that Netflix does this. But I am finishing up the Sandman, and I'm looking forward to the final season, I guess. What's up, Justin? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Doing good.
Chris was just here, and I'm so pissed that I just missed him.
He's coming back. He's gonna go out on his phone. We were just talking about DC. He got to see Superman early. He was giving me spoilers yet, but he is nervous. Haven't seen the movie. I am still in the corner that DC is gonna make a comeback.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna make $1 billion. I already put my stake on it. I think people are sleeping on it.
Did you tell me that he's seen it already?
Yes.
All right.
He says Lex Luthor is good. So we already got him because fucking Nicholas Hoult is a real actor.
Good? Is Superman good? Because that's gonna be the heart of the movie.
I didn't want to know more, and he doesn't want to give more away. To be honest with you, I don't want to ask. I just want to be surprised by the performance. Now that I have you here, have you seen the new Karate Kid movie?
No. Because the ending was spoiled for me.
Yes.
I feel like I don't need to watch the movie because I already know that if I had gone to see the movie, I would have already loved to have seen that ending credit sequence. And that's what deters me from
rewatched the Hunger Games. Damn it, Mandy. And I gotta say, I do enjoy them. Not a big fan of the new one that came out, but I do like the original Hunger Games. I think that they're very entertaining. I just rewatched them with the wife. That's like her favorite YA series. So, yeah, they're pretty competently made, especially now watching them years later. It's actually surprising how fucking good those movies are. As far as like when we had that big you remember the big YA craze where every fucking one of the movies coming out were a teen dystopian.
Yes, I loved it. I loved it.
I hated it, bro.
I was a teen at the time, so I was very fond of it. So
I gotta tell you, I loved the most underrated one. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Damn it, Mandy. Mine was Divergent. Yeah, Divergent.
Yeah. I knew it. I knew it. Even though it went straight to television, it's how bad it went. At least the Hunger Games did pretty well. That first movie is actually really good. We studied it in my high school film class, and needless to say, I aced the class because of that, because I've already seen it. I was like, this is easy to dissect. It's great. It's a fun movie for teenagers. Like if they want to dissect a film and see where it's going to go and predict where other movies are going to go because of the cinematography and because of symbolism and whatever. Like, it's a good film to start with.
Why the fuck did you let this guy back on? God, I thought we agreed that he wasn't coming on. His takes are worse than yours.
Worse than yours? I'm sorry, Mr. Jurassic Park Honorable Trash.
Speaking of which, the new Jurassic Park movie, we were talking about that earlier and how...
I didn't see it. I don't think I'm going to see it.
I'll be honest with you. Just a quick little non-spoiler review. I will have a full review up so you guys can watch. I've been dealing with CBS copyright striking my fucking Penny Dreadful review. I had to do 3 claims to fight them, and I wind up cutting like 3 minutes of my video because they won both of them. But anyways.
Well, wait, really quick. I will tell you this. Justin will probably agree with me. You cutting 3 minutes out of any video is like, it is a blessing to people that they don't get 3 extra minutes.
Like less minutes of you narrating over footage that is superior to anything that you can ever achieve, and YouTube wants to punish you for it.
I know. It's fucking
I mean, I don't blame them.
Well, Justin, the question isn't does YouTube punish him or does he ask for punishment? Does he say, I've been a bad boy, punish me? I think he does.
We're not talking about
I think he asked that. He asked that enough. Ask the bitchy unicorn. Anyways.
Yes. So, anyways, while I have you all here, there is a topic I wanted to bring up that we need to revisit. And this really goes to Jurassic Park, Superman, and all the things coming out that I think need to be said, because I've been hearing this term thrown around for movies a lot that really fucking pisses me off. And every one of the circles we run in or we know uses this word from time to time, and we have to correct them. I don't think people understand or comprehend, especially in this day and age, and me and Chris touched on this a little bit. Let's talk about when people prematurely start calling movies flops. I heard it for Ballerina. It was only made on an $80 million budget. It's going to make its thing back. It's the lowest John Wick, but it wasn't a flop. That was one that they used. There's a lot of movies that they're saying
it's a flop if they lose money. It's a flop.
Wait. I'm gonna chime in right there. But we only look at what is published as the budget. We don't know about the kickbacks. We don't know about the rebates they get. We don't know about all that. Listen, there was an article, I'll try to find it, about 3 years ago that pointed out, I'm trying to remember, it was one of the Marvel movies, it might have been the Eternals, that they said just lost tons of money. And what they did is they went in and they found out that not the Marvels, Eternals, that's it. It was either that or something else, but it was a few years back. It was a movie that claimed that it lost like millions and millions and millions of dollars. And when they went and actually looked at all of the kickbacks and everything else that they got from governments for going to shoot in different places and stuff, they actually made like 4 times what the movie cost them. And the thing is that this is never published. This is never published by the studios because the studios want to show loss, not show profit.
Now, Snow White did flop because it made nowhere near its budget. It didn't even come close. That is all definition.
Well, like I said, I don't remember what the movie was, but they did point out a movie that was considered a flop commercially and monetarily. But what they did show is that ultimately it made more than it cost to make because they got so many kickbacks from it.
And that's the thing that I hate about the new thing. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the new thing I hate is people using box office tracking to call a movie a flop before it comes out. Now, I just want to say, back in the day, box office tracking was still bullshit. Now in the modern era, it's amplified bullshit because
it's more bullshit now
than it ever was. Box office tracking is just a rough guesstimate of what the movie could make.
Guesstimate?
Yeah, it really is, because they don't know. You could have a fucking snowstorm. People
that sounds
the
like
movie. You could have, I don't know, somebody found out that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, there's a lot of things tracking doesn't account for, a lot of human factors. And I've hated this thing, and I think it's irresponsible, especially for us highbrow critics on this panel, right? Who do the reviews. Every one of us
I think he's talking about me only, but that's good.
Right? It is,
I mean, it's definitely not us.
I think it's
not you, and not definitely not Todd.
I mean, like, you're talking about somebody who's retired and versus somebody who's actively like fucking up every single day. So, like,
even retired, you're still probably more accurate than people who aren't. But anyways, now I think it's irresponsible with a lot of videos that I see. And I think it does feed into, yes, their algorithm and what kind of audience they have. But I always have felt, and I think it's gotten worse, this sense of trying to say everything's a flop. It's like using woke or any of these other things that have been thrown around. It's starting to lose the definition and the meaning of what the word is. You don't know how badly it's flopped until you're at least a week or two. And that's even still kind of roughly guessing, because we've seen movies turn it around in what we thought was their last runs, and then that motherfucker got legs because of word of mouth, and the next thing you know, it not only made its money back, or it made up to its money, but then you put in DVD sales, digital sales, whatever it is now, HBO runtime, how many fucking subscriptions, because we have no fucking clue about that that they got, and the next thing you know, this movie's getting a sequel. So I want to know from you guys, what are your feelings about the way reviews are being done? Because quite honestly, I get flabbergasted, and I have some pretty weird takes. I get flabbergasted by some of these reviews.
What reviews are we talking about? Like, are we talking about just like, you know?
I don't want to throw any specific channels, but you know the ones I'm talking about when they have the thumbnail. This movie's gonna be the biggest flop. Box office tracking at -0.
When it's 3 weeks before, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months before, and they're just ramming it into the ground. It's for clicks. And here's the next problem. I'm not ever, when I watch or even start to watch, I mean, I'll give some of these channels like 2 minutes of my time to just listen long enough to decide, bullshit, you didn't even go watch it. And I'm sorry, but you can tell when they have or haven't.
Thank you.
Listen,
thank you.
You have to know one thing. I understand if you don't like it. I understand that. But when everything you talk about is the same thing you talk about for everything you talk about, then you didn't watch it. You're just using it as a platform to continue the rhetoric of your channel. And whether or not the rhetoric, as some people might call it, is racist or sexist or whatever, I'm not going to even go into that. I'm just saying, if you fall on the lines of, oh, there's so much, girl bossing going on, or race swapping, whatever you want to go down the road, whatever road you want to go down, I don't care. But if that's your channel's demographic, if that's where your channel always goes, and that's how you start the whole thing off, then you didn't really watch it. You didn't give it, because here's the thing. I was never a huge fan of Siskel and Ebert with some of their reviews, but I'll give them this. They admitted when they were wrong. They would tell you right up front, man, I went into this movie and I didn't even think I would care about it. I didn't want to go watch it. But you know what? When I got out, I was like, man, this movie was good, or this movie was better than I thought it would be. You have to be objective about it. You have to say, listen, I said this before the movie came out. Then when I went to go watch it, I stopped and said, you know what? While I still see some of that, it isn't as bad as I thought it was, or something like that. It's like, you have to say, listen, this is where I was. This is where I'm at now. But they never changed their dialogue. Never. It doesn't matter if the movie is good. It doesn't matter if what they say is in it or isn't in it. they never change their dialogue, and that's how you know they didn't see the movie.
I just want to give. Can we give a round of applause for Chris right there? Like that is the perfect summarization of the reason why I fucking retired is because like being around like dipshits it was not my career choice and not my career path. So I just want to make it very clear. Like I think a lot of these people, these YouTubers, will be very sincere. However, like they will also acknowledge that they have a business to run, and they just do it because it works. Well, and that's the only reason why they will do it is because it works, and it's the only way that they think it works, and that's fine. Like I accept that, but
here's the thing. Let me go into that really quick here. Go ahead, finish up, and I'll go after you.
Well, just because I know these guys personally, you know, I know that they always, at least years ago when I met them, that like they were very good people, like who were like, you know, very, very, what's the word for it? They were very secure. They were very standoffish, but like in a way that like, hey, if you disagree with me, it's okay. And we can talk about it. But you know, at the end of the day, they were very firm and solid in their opinions of like, this is not good. And that's where we were unified, or at least where I was unified with them of, okay, this is not good. We can agree on that. But then to see what has happened in the last couple of years since I retired, you know, it's the same bullshit. Like it seems like a pattern. Like
it is.
Like it's okay. Like all right. What's the next? Person of color that we're gonna go after now? And that's what a lot of people think. You know, like Snow White. Okay, like what's the next female we can go after? You know, okay, this woman. You know, it's. I don't know. It gets so tired. It gets very derivative. And, you know, I understand the other side when they were saying back then that this is the kind of thing that we don't like. And I get it now. But, you know, it only took me so long because, like, I was so in agreement with what they were saying. But they always consistently... Some of these people will consistently say, not naming any names, obviously, they will always just be like, okay, no, we aren't exactly like this all the time. They will refer to certain, you know, like Ripley or whatever. Like, but like we don't really hate, you know, female protagonists, but you know, at the same time, like I can understand why people will see like you keep attacking newcomers who are females. Like, can you not understand why like people will think that? Like,
the key is, and this is what I've always said with that type of thing. The key is, if you're going to say that the new female leads or the new female characters aren't strong, or Mary Sue's, whatever, then you need to give basis for why your opinion is that. Such as, Ray's a Mary Sue. Why is she a Mary Sue? Well, look, she has everything handed to her. She's perfect from the get-go. But let me explain to you why I think this way. Because I grew up with Ripley. I grew up with Ripley in Alien, which she had to be strong. It wasn't because she was strong. She you could tell she was scared to death. But at the same time, who else was going to do it? She had to get off that ship. Somebody had to survive. And she was the only one that was going to do it. But throughout it, even up to the very, very, very end, she's scared to death. She's not perfect. She's doing whatever she can to survive. That is the difference. You have to say, this is why I'm like this, because I grew up with this character, and look at the problems she had. Look at what she had to go through. And so that's where I'm always like, you're just railing on somebody and not giving examples.
Yeah, my biggest thing, and we can either take it out of whether like, and this is why I waited to do my Ironheart review and things like that. Me and Chris, you could rewind this stream. We had a pretty good debate where we both give logical reasons for our positions, and I don't even think Chris liked it, but he defended it more than me. But I find the character lacking, not because she's black, not because she's a woman, but just because the show within itself is terribly fucking written. And look, this is the hard thing, especially nowadays. And I say this with my reviews all the time, because sometimes it's the actress putting a spin on something, like in The Last of Us Season 2. Some of that acting was atrocious, and that wasn't just all the script. Some of it was just Bella Ramsey does not have a huge range. She has a particular range that she can hit. And unfortunately, they were asking her to go beyond that, and I don't think she had the range to hit it. But it wasn't because it was a female or a female-led character. I would love to. There's plenty of examples. I went to see Ballerina, okay? Now, I was fully expecting that because it's the John Wick saga, they're not going to pull the bullshit, but already people were coming out and saying, oh, it's just the title, but blah, blah, blah. Arma de Armas is fucking fantastic in the movie. The issue the movie has, and why the movie's weaker than the other ones, is the writing around the character, because it's a different director, but her performance was not the problem. She put in just as much work as Keanu Reeves. She trained with him. She did all of the things. I would even say I thought her personality was fine. She fucked up a lot. She straight up misses people in the movie. Like,
well,
and that's what I mean. Where like not with shots, but she just like she doesn't get to her objective.
No.
Something happens.
Can I point out something about that though? The other issue is again, this is going back to Hollywood and people who are running things. They didn't believe in the movie enough because they had to bring
John Wick back. Yeah, and
that is a big give me right there. When you don't even believe in your project enough that you think it stands on its own, you can say it's part of John Wick, but you don't need to bring John Wick into it. What was the one?
I thought, honestly, that what they did with the sister, they should have extended that and had her in it more. I was more interested in her story, and that was actually one of my critiques that I said was the issue. I love Keanu as much as the next guy, but honestly, like, yeah, it was cool seeing him. I loved the lines. I thought their fight was fucking fantastic. One of the best ones in the movie. But, and the thing with the grenades, if you know, you know. But at the end of the day, I think, and I've said this too, when I'm critiquing something, folks, and this is my issue with YouTube, and I think whether you like or hate my reviews, I give specific reasons. It's not just based on the sex and the race of the character. And I think between the media saying trolls don't like something or you're sexist if you don't like something, and between the other side trying to fight back against that, the pendulum has swung way this way for both sides. And I think both sides of this argument has lost its way. Like these guys you see on this panel, I consider us the middle because we all have varying opinions.
I was going to say, and sorry, let me break in here really quick and say this. I was going to say, I think that if we followed the narrative that's out there on either side, like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever or it's the worst thing ever, if we followed the narrative, if we played the same cut and paste for every movie, everything that comes out. We cut and paste, and we just change the names in it. I mean, hell, we probably have the 200,000-300,000 subs too. But we don't do that.
We're all fucking up as.
But we don't do that. And people have said, just stick with one topic, stick with one thing. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not going to. I'm not here to, you know what? If I get that many subs, fine, whatever. But I'm going to get that many subs because I'm doing what I want to do. Not because I'm following a script. Not because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. I do YouTube because I love to do this, and I say what I think. And if it's the narrative, you can blame me for being narrative. If it's not the narrative, then it's not. Again, have I ever changed my stance on The Last Jedi?
Annoyingly not to this day.
Exactly. This is my point.
And that is the difference between you and a lot of other people, because they consistently will, like, if you do this as a career, it's going to fuck you in the ass when it comes to, you know, your opinions. Like you, if you're smart about it, you can get away with it. But
that's the thing.
But if you're not, like, it's going to reflect on how you are as a person, and can we even trust you at all? You know, and like I've been looking at YouTubers like Ryan Trahan, which is he's going to 50 states in 50 days, and I really appreciate that sort of YouTubing. You know,
I'll be right back, guys.
More than anything else, like any reviewer like can do for me. Like it's not.
I mean, look at Michael K.
It's a great thing, like to watch. You know, and he's, you know, raised over, like, it's going to be almost $3 million for St. Jude's. Like, holy shit! Like, and he's just doing this just to do it.
And I just want to piggyback off of that. I think that is an excellent thing. Like, look, if we ever got this popular, and I know you just appear on my channel a lot more because you're retired from Europe, but like, I know I could get a group together to do that. I would love to do stuff like that. But like Chris said, and like you said, I've gotten to a point where, like, even with my reviews, like with my Ironheart review, I could have gotten it out when everyone else did, but I waited for the full series to drop because I've gotten to this point where, one, I'm tired of just judging something off of 1 or 2 episodes. Like, people don't understand. Reviewing streaming is fucking difficult, especially when they do 3 chunks here, 3 chunks there. Or, like, Cobra Kai was a nightmare for us because we were like, well, part 1 didn't end that great. We're like, oh, part 2, and then part 3 pulled it together. And had we had it all, I think our reviews would have been a little bit different. But as we said, we were going by what we saw and not what was to come. And I think
but that was actually really good because, like, unlike, you know, a lot of people who like would know what's going to happen, you know, it's kind of nice to like see it from a viewer's perspective. You know, it's like, this is confusing. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, but it's just, that's why I think I've reached a different spot reviewing where I've been more of, I don't even like with Agatha or even Ironheart. Like, I am starting to do it where I'm not going to be, or I haven't been so judgmental based on one thing I've saw, because first episodes of anything could be rough. I always have like a 3-episode rule. If it doesn't pick up by episode 3, more than likely it's not going to, and it's a nice number. Anything you watch, if you aren't hooked by episode 3, there's a good chance it ain't winning you over. Unless,
there's a good example for me, and you're gonna hate me for this. It's Always Sunny. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
I mean, yeah.
I agree. That's a show that took quite a while to catch on because I'm not gonna lie, and this might be a hot take. Personally, I thought the first season wasn't good till damn near the end of the season. Like it was very much like it was trying to find its footing. Now, once you hit the kind of zone and where I feel like they got more confidence in what the characters were gonna be, then it really picked up. But like, and that's what I mean by reviewing. Like, I think that, and this is more true for movies than with shows, but I think if you go into something, and this is the problem that we have a lot of, I think that we have the curse of having all of the information and these behind the scenes and stuff like this. But I think largely if you go into something wanting to hate it, and I think a lot of these reviewers do, then I think your review is going to be colored. And here's the thing: we always get on these big reviewers, right? The IGNs and everybody for doing all of these things that we hate. But it's getting to a point where a lot of reviewers are doing the same thing. Where if you have a preconceived notion of something, if you're going into something without a clean slate and going, okay, I don't give a fuck about what the actor said or what the studio did. I'm just going in to watch this movie as a movie. Now, Rust is the example or the exception to that because someone fucking died on that movie. But I'm talking about like an actor says something, this person does. Like, fuck, even Snow White. I didn't go in wanting to hate the movie. I went knowing it was going to be.
Wait a minute.
I went into it knowing.
Chris, go ahead because I have something to say as well.
No,
it's fine.
I went into the movie knowing it wasn't going to be particularly great, but there's a difference between bracing yourself for something that may not be good versus going into something with the mindset you're going to hate it. And I think a lot of people, when they're doing a review, don't leave their biases out. And part of reviewing and what we complain about mainstream reviewers doing is bringing their fucking politics and everything else with them into the theater and then judging it through that lens instead of just no politics, no nothing. What is the movie telling me? What is the characters telling me? How is it shot? That's supposed to be what reviewing is.
What did I just do with Ironheart? I told you.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Same thing.
So they decided to do this and this, and I went and explained how they could have done it. Said, listen, if they'd done this, it made more sense. And that's what you do. You got to say, listen, okay, I guess, okay. One of the things you'll never see anybody who hates Disney Star Wars do this. You'll never see them do this. They will play the part of George Lucas saying, I wouldn't have done this. This was not my plan. This was not what I was going to do. Blah, 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 blah. But they'll never play the part after that, which says, but I don't earn it anymore, so I don't have any say. They never play that part. Why? Because that's the truth. He doesn't have anything to do with it anymore. Whether or not you want to say, this isn't what Lucas would have done. This is, all the people who say, oh, Lucas was involved with the EU writers. He wasn't. There's tons. There's tons of stuff out there that is handwritten.
Chris, I just saw this the other day. There was an interview like with Lucas and Seth Green. Like the guy's just like interviewing him, and it was a sketch. Like
all he said though.
So you invented Mara Jade, right? He's like, no, I didn't. And then he kicked him out of the room.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember that. But
he kicked him out of the room and just the whole sketch.
Here's the thing about that though.
But like people don't understand. Like
so, everybody says this isn't what Lucas would do. This isn't what Lucas would do. This sucks. This isn't this. This isn't that. It's not real Star Wars. You know what I always say? I'm like, well, I give them credit with Rogue One because while those aren't the actual characters they're supposed to be, they are based off of characters that were in the EU. They're not the exact same, but they're reminiscent. I see what they're trying to do to bring in EU stuff to bring some more fans back. but nobody's willing to give them the credit that they're at least trying something without ripping off something. And it's like, okay. And I mean, I don't agree with the fact that they said things like, I don't agree that they said there's nothing out there. There's no, there's no source material. I don't buy that. But you always need to look at it, and for not necessarily every negative you have, but for negatives you have, be honest with yourself and say there possibly is a positive. Now, that isn't always true. There are plenty of movies out there that are total trash. I will agree. But not every movie is trash completely. You have to look at it. Like I said, I haven't seen the Fantastic Four yet. I'll probably have to see it here this next week, I think. I don't know. I have to check on that. But what I've been told about the Galactus and Silver Surfer and all that, I'm like, okay, well, I'll give him credit that because the Silver Surfer is Galactus's minion, for lack of a better term, they're both in this movie. That's a plus over anything else that's been done so far with the Fantastic Four. I know this, right?
Those movies have been a shit show since the fucking 80s. So
they have
already.
But
those movies were never.
But my point is right there. I can already give you a positive over every other Fantastic Four movie. Silver Surfer's in it, and so is Galactus. Whether or not how they play it, I don't know. I'm not going to say that it's going to be great, but I'm telling you right now, no other movie has done that yet.
Hey, and this thing too, with like hating on Pedro Pascal, like, look, he says some fucking stupid shit. I will admit that, but the numbers speak for themselves, and I just want to give a little example. So we had The Last of Us Season 1, huge numbers. Mm-hmm. Season 2 fell off a fucking cliff. Besides the bad dialogue and for reasons I'll never understand, they completely changed, and I hate the second game. They changed some stuff that made it worse and made me actually like the game better. But when they lost Pedro in that show, normies, and I've talked to my normal friends, they don't do the video game, they don't listen to the same shit we do. They stopped watching because Pedro Pascal was no longer in the show. That attack dropped off a cliff because the dude's likable. And so,
you know what? Here's the thing.
Fantastic Four, no matter what you say, the man draws people to the theater.
I'm going to tell you this right now, though. That I hate that when somebody says something outside of a movie, Renee Zellweger or whatever, whoever the fuck, it doesn't matter. I don't think Mel Gibson's a good person, but you know what? I love his movies. I don't know if Usual Suspects. Kevin Spacey. I don't know if Kevin Spacey's a good guy or a creep. It looks like he's a creep. But you know what? I love his movies. I don't give a fuck what you say outside of the screen, because it doesn't matter. If you can act worth the shit and you can give me a good movie, damn short of molesting you know what, I'm okay with it. I really don't give a shit, because if you can give me a good movie, fine. You're a horrible human being. Who gives a fuck? Because I do not know you. I don't care. I will never meet you. I don't care, because I will never hear a word from you. If you deliver the line the way it works on that screen, I am perfectly fine with it. I am tired of people using the fucking shit, the actors who we don't need to give any voice to, what they say out in public. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you either act or you don't. If you can't act worth a shit, then you suck.
And here's the thing, too, that I think people confuse, because when I bring up the actor conversation, I'm not saying I'm not cool with them directly attacking fans. I think that's a whole separate conversation within the franchise. But if they say something like, oh, I think the male gaze is an issue, which Scarlett Johansson said, and I'm going to talk about that next week with PB. But that was nothing to do with the movie. And when you read the article and dive into what she was talking about, it made more sense. And see, that's why when stuff like this comes out, I hate that the attacking the, because Pedro Pascal did this, the movie's gonna bomb. And it's like, no, because the normal movie goer is not fucking watching that. They saw Pedro Pascal in Last of Us and name 150 movies that were all good with him in it. And they'll be like, oh, I like that guy. I'm going to go and see it because he's in it.
Well, it's all out of context.
They're not going, oh, he said something about the Mexican border. Well, fuck him. People don't give a shit. And I think that, like, and then when you put all these things together to bring it back around to reviewing, and why I want to talk with fellow reviewers about this topic, I think that for us being on the internet, we're exposed to a lot of information and articles where it could paint our thing. But I think that at the end of the day, I've gotten back to, like, with my Penny Dreadful review, for example. I'm talking about the camera angles, the narrative, what the person says, which is foreshadowing to something else. I think that we're losing a lot of breaking down to the nitty gritty. And look, we're not all like highbrow, like, the camera work was exquisite. This is a masterpiece in cinema. No, because I've seen a lot of...
Well, that's not...
Let me finish for a second before I lose my thought. I've seen a lot of well-made movies that are piles of shit. Or just watch the fucking Oscars. Half of the movies we never heard of in there, they're all well shot. They're pretty well acted. I bet you never seen them. So, to me, I've always been about, like, we should be critiquing the movie itself. Like, unless it's a quote that directly harms the movie, like, fuck Marvel fans, they're all a bunch of dirty fucking trolls, and I hope they all fucking die, and if you're a man, you don't need to see this movie. In that case, I'll say, okay, I'm not going to go fucking see your movie. But, like, that's the exception where it directly affects the product. But, like, people's politics, what they're doing outside, the time that they said
should
men are
have
evil,
nothing to do
I don't
with
care.
Yeah, like, what does it have to do with the movie that you're going to see? I understand. Like, I completely understand that if you saw Rachel Zegler saying, like, weird, like, out of context, like, yeah, like, you know, like, oh, it's so...
But that's the thing. Everybody who...
Like that, you could easily interpret that as, oh, that's a disrespect to...
Now,
everybody...
who referred to it as... Hold on. Let me fucking finish the first time.
Oh, sorry. So look, like, I can understand why somebody's like, okay, like, this bitch, like, fuck her, like, because she's disrespecting Snow White. But what she's really saying is, like, if you really look at the original Snow White, the prince has no character. The dwarves have, from what I understand, they just sit there the entire time. And then the prince somehow finds out where she is. I got a better counter.
How did you find that out? How did you find it out? I watched the movie the other night, and I have no idea where the fuck he found out where she was laying to rest.
I got a better, the
Map Quest.
But the thing is, it doesn't matter because
Map Quest
simpler. Yeah, Map Quest. Like, things were.
Let me give you a better example. Like, here's the thing. With Barbie, right? I'm fine with somebody coming out and saying that's not made for me, because it's not made for me. And if an actress wants to come out and run around and talk about empowerment,
I loved it.
I 100% agree, because unless you're a fucking weirdo like Justin Proper, I'm just looking at Margot Robbie. I don't fucking know what the plot is, nor do I care.
Who's seen Barbie here? Who's seen Barbie?
Yeah, me.
You have, get this. You know, here's an wait. One thing
to say I'm a weirdo, you motherfucker.
Stop. Here, listen. One thing I'm gonna say right here. What's wrong with this? A reviewer saying this. I didn't go see it. I still haven't seen it. I have no one to go see it. I won't go see it, but you know what else I won't do? I don't know anything about the movie, so I won't say shit about the movie because I don't know.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. It's like, because I said this earlier, that I get the feeling more often than not when these people go down the same dribble drabble that they always go down, that the first thing I think if I watch 2 minutes of their thing is like, okay, they didn't watch this.
Yeah, and look, with my reviews, I jump all over the place, but I give specific details because I want people to know I have watched the thing. I know exactly, like, even I was ahead of you at Ironheart. Like, I give specific scenes. I watched the thing, but like you said, and that's my issue, and that's another thing I can't fucking stand. I hate people giving reviews before something even comes out. And you watch it and you find out the movie isn't even out yet, and you're like, how the fuck did they see it? And they haven't seen it, and then they say at the end, oh, I didn't see it, but this just what it appears to me. It's like you can't do a review on a trailer.
Lee, this is the reason why that I so wish that I had posted a review for Top Gun Maverick, because I saw it on a Tuesday and none of y'all could have ever made a review. I'm so mad about that.
Well, here's the thing. I've already seen.
Jeremy Johns wasn't able to make a review of that.
Well, so I've already seen Superman. I saw Flash like 3 weeks before it came out. Actually, maybe more than that, because I saw it before they even showed us the ending where George Clooney was in it. And the first thing they do, they handed me a paper saying, because I'll tell you one of the reasons why I've gotten this, because I do YouTube. And they tell me, you cannot talk about this. And here's the thing. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I can say that, but I can't tell you any particulars about it.
I didn't sign anything, and I should have. Fucking.
You should have. You should have.
Yeah, if you didn't.
I saw Top Gun Maverick. What was it? It was several months because it was already done. It was several months before it came out.
You signed an NDA.
I have to. That's how I get into a lot of this stuff.
I didn't have to sign anything. It was my local movie. Oh, no. They gave me a fucking poster. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, you go to the thing that I've done that before too. When it's just a presser, I've done those. I did that with Opportunity Knocks with Dana Carvey. But a lot of the stuff I do now, it's like, for instance, I'm not sure when I go see Superman this coming up week, because of the things they said, I'm not sure if everything I saw will be exactly as I saw it. And so that's why I also sit back and say, I can't really talk about it, but I can also say I didn't hate it, but I can't tell you my exact thoughts on it.
Now that we're talking about this, I got to get my hype thing out of the way. I was going to save it for the end of the stream, but I did actually get to see it in advance, and it will be dropping tonight. And I want to thank Netflix for the opportunity. I did get to see the final season of Sandman. I got to see all 11 episodes.
Things work in Ohio, but I would really like how.
Well, it was because I've been doing a review for Sandman on my channel leading up to it, and somebody sent me a fucking thing, and you only have a certain amount of time to watch it, and you can't take bathroom breaks. Like, once you press play, you gotta, like, go all the way.
It's a timer.
Yeah,
there's lots of times it's like that. When I've spent time out in Vegas, I got a lot of that stuff too. Yeah,
I got an advanced screening, and I can tell you something right now. I've got to say, I'm really fucking sad that this show is coming to an end, because I will tell you something right now. The best produced show, and I didn't see all of the VFX, but even just what was like I can tell you right now, this final season is going to be fucking awesome. And I think it's such a mistake that they're canceling it because of fucking Neil Gaiman, because that's the only reason. You can tell a lot of the with a lot of the story threads seem like they were they cover a lot of the books in a short amount of time, and I'll talk about that when I can do a review. But I can tell you, I actually did get an early screener for Sandman season 2. It is fucking epic. I can't wait to see the feedback for that. But yeah, like I've gotten stuff like that. I got to see How to Train Your Dragon, the last one. I got a screener for that, or not a screener. I went to.
What'd you think about the new the live action? Well, let's go into that too. The inability to come up with new ideas, but at the same time, a lot of this live action stuff. Sometimes I'm like, man, why are we doing that? And I go watch it. I'm like, I'm kind of glad they did it this way. What did you think about? Like, let's go with How to Train Your Dragon. I love the fact when I went to see it, I was like, so when I got the letter saying or the email saying, hey, you can come and watch it, I was like, man, I don't know, but I loved the original one. I remember my kids loving it, and I went to go watch it, and I was like, man, there was something about it that I'm like, okay, I give them credit. It was worth doing it live action.
I will say, I loved it. I'm glad that a new generation will experience. My only gripe that I've had that whole movie, and honestly, it's just a lot of small nitpicks because essentially it's the same story. Thank God nothing's really changed too dramatically. The one gripe I have is the actress who plays what's her face, the love interest. I always fucking forget her name. The one who's in love with the dude. What's her face?
I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the love interest I think was horribly miscast. I don't know if it was the direction she was given or whatever else. I did not believe their chemistry.
No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think that she was very bad miscast. But the rest of the movie, I saw Lilo and Stitch before that, so maybe it's just because I saw that piece of shit and then went to see this one.
Oh God.
Yeah, the Lilo and Stitch was fucking horrendous. And then I went to see How to Train Your Dragon after that. And it could just be such a shitty movie before it. But I'm going to say, like, How to Train Your Dragon was awesome. The special effects were great.
Yes.
I love that they got Gerard Butler to just repress his role.
Yep.
And I think
that... Whoa. Repress?
Yeah, he did the voice in the movie.
You mean reprise?
Reprise. People will come on here for me to speak.
I had to.
Come on. If that was the case, Justin would have had me talking properly.
I was going to do it, but thank you for sparing me the trouble.
Yeah, like I think Gerard Butler was great in it.
Jared, it's actually Jared Butler.
No, it's Gerard. He says no, it's Gerard Butler. He even says it himself. Do you not watch interviews with him? It's Gerard Butler.
It's not Russian. It's Irish.
No, it's pronounced Gerard Butler, not Jared.
Whatever.
Jared isn't even Irish.
Yes,
but no,
he is.
I think that it was great. The Lilo and Stitch movie, though, that was another. See, I had two comparisons, and I think what they did with How to Train Your Dragon was they stuck to the original story and didn't change it much. They just gave us a live action of that. And if you're essentially just doing a remake or a live action remake, as they like to call it, you are not making something new. And that's the mistake a lot of these remakes make, is they want to add a bunch of shit that adds nothing to the story. It doesn't make it better in any way than what the original story was. And How to Train Your Dragon doesn't try to fucking reinvent the wheel. They just essentially put the cartoon into live action form. For people who maybe don't even want to watch a cartoon, they can sit back, which I don't know why you wouldn't watch it. It's an amazing fucking cartoon and it hits you in the feels. But anyways, I think this is a good way to get a lot of the younger generation who are actually into it. And the box office speaks for itself. Even Lilo and Stitch did good. That was fucking terrible. Zach Galifianakis, is that his name? He needs to get a new agent. He was fucking horribly miscast in that movie.
Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah, he plays the alien in that.
Well,
yeah, it was the new Lilo and Stitch was fucking bad.
Wow. You didn't know who Zach Galifianakis was.
No, I've known for years.
No. You didn't know who he was.
No, I knew who he was. I just said he was in the movie. Anyways, also too, I went to see the Minecraft movie. That's one of my worst movies of this year. I think that movie is fucking atrocious.
That's
oh my god,
your point of view, and I mean,
there was only
I can only attribute that. Like, I can only compare it to when I saw the Lego movie for the first time. It made me feel like I was a kid again, and I can understand younger audiences feeling like they were a kid again.
I can. Okay, so I can understand. So let's talk about this because I haven't gotten your opinions. I can understand. Well, no, I feel like there's too many retards.
Chris is like,
hold on, let me finish. I can understand this big hype for it, but I just thought the Minecraft movie was fucking terribly written, and it was like nails on a chalkboard trying to get through that movie. It's not movies.
Yes.
The one good scene, the only fucking thing I liked in the movie.
Do not say chicken jockey.
No, that was fucking retarded. The only thing I liked, the only thing that I liked in the movie was the neighbor dating the Minecraft guy, the Minecraft neighbor. That shit was fucking hilarious. Like the sexual references where she's like, I'm going to take you back to my place tonight.
You only like the sexual references in the Minecraft movie. That's telling of you, Zod.
Because I thought they were going to lean towards more of those subtle, crude things, but with Minecraft, I thought that would have made it better. But instead, it was stuck between trying to do some mature things, but they wanted the kids, so they pulled back some of the humor and made it stupid humor. And I'm sorry, if you like the movie, I get it, but it's on my worst movies list. I thought it was atrocious.
Chris,
I don't understand
to lighten up the mood.
Bad.
Is your Coke bottle? Does your Coke bottle at least say Chris on it?
You know what's funny? As I drink Coke Zero.
Yes.
Wait. I drink Coke Zero like it's going out of style. What's funny is I have only had 2 that have my full name on it, Christopher. I have never had one that said Chris. And somehow I got the one that doesn't have any name on it.
Oh, interesting.
I looked for those specifically because everybody asks me, says, Chris, man, there's got to be 1 billion of those bottles. I'm like, I've only found 2 that said Christopher. Although I'm pissed off because the other day I did find one that said Christopher, and then out of nowhere, I'm sitting there drinking another one, and I look down at it, and it's got my son's name, Julian, on it, and I'm like, oh my God. And I had both of them, and I was going to keep them, and I think I threw them out, but whatever. My other son, I can't find one for him. So I might just contact Coke, because if you contact Coke off their website, they will print it off for you.
Before we go, I wanted to go off the beaten path and bring up another subject. This is more probably in the horror of the realm of me and Justin Proper.
Are going to just go off subject and just go off the rails?
Oh yeah, as always. That's
oh my God.
It's weird.
So strange.
But I wanted to so for me, the past 5 years, there's only been one king genre that's delivered consistently good movies. We all know what genre that is. Horror has rocked it out for the past 5 years. They've made banger after banger. That's if you're a horror fan.
Even if you're a horror fan, you have to admit, this goes back to what I was saying. Admit it. There is shit in the horror industry.
I totally disagree. Last year, my top horror movie was Heretic. That was one of the best.
Just because horror unzips and flops it out, and you're like, ah.
No, Heretic had no nudity in it. I thought that was one. I thought that was I thought Heretic was not only the best horror movie of last year.
Okay, great. So
But
I know what you did last summer, reboot but not reboot, is going to be a good movie.
This year we had Companion. I thought that was excellent. The Monkey was great. The new Final Destination was really good.
Justin Proper
was really great.
Justin Proper. What was my question? Was it about Heretic? Was it about any of those other things, or what was it about? What was my question about?
I don't know.
Okay, so he's not paying attention. This is typical for Justin. My
your initial question was not relevant to the answer that he gave.
My question: are you telling me that I know what you did last summer that is not a reboot, but is a reboot, but isn't?
That's not every horror movie. You're talking.
That wasn't something that I was gonna guess.
But you said that the horror genre consistently delivers without fail.
It does.
I named one movie.
I can name 5.
Doesn't matter. You told me, like, you made it.
Also, Until Dawn came out. That wasn't good. We can say that about.
Oh my God, Chris! Like all the horror films that I have looked at on Netflix, they have been like You Can't Spend a Night in the Woods or whatever the fuck that movie is called. That's a Polish film. Like, I love that. I love those 2 movies. They are amazing. They are amazing. Horror is the only genre that I will say.
28 years later.
Yeah, whatever.
I thought it was great. That's on my top 10 list. 28 years later, I
love those movies. So. I love them all.
Like, I can't say that. I didn't even see like 28 Days Later or whatever the.
Oh, we got to do a watch along.
No, I've never I can't say anything about that. But all I know is that horror is the only genre that is untouched by all of this bullshit. Like,
I totally agree.
In a league of its own, and it is untouchable by the people that will say like, "Oh,
don't say that
politically incorrect bullshit." Like, that's gone. That's gone in horror.
Really quick,
that is completely gone.
That last comment, damn it, Mandy. Put that up. I know it's been a minute that's been up there, but I want to say something. Did you guys hear that there's strong, I won't even say rumors, there's strong talk that they're about ready to do a remake of Shawshank Redemption?
There's so many reasons.
I'm going to get my book of different seasons by Stephen King because they have four amazing novellas.
There's another one, Running Man, coming out in November. I so badly want to see this because when I at first I was like, oh great, here we go again. When I watched it, they mentioned two things in it that I was like, ooh. One, it's 30 days, not a night. Two, he's doing it to help his daughter and his family. That is directly from the Stephen King story.
I heard, they're supposed to really be faithfully.
So excited about this now. I saw people trashing, and I'm like, wait a minute.
What about the long
this
walk?
Is actually, okay. I mean, it's.
Did you hear who's supposed to be the main antagonist? Fucking.
No.
Luke Skywalker himself is going to be
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is going to be the guy who's the head bad guy, the head general running the walk. It's like basically they have to continuously walk over an undetermined amount of days
until the Shawshank Redemption with Mark Hamill.
No, this is a different Stephen King thing they're adapting. It's called The Long Walk.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. It says
Stephen
King. This is why we're getting.
When it comes to these adaptations, some are brilliant, but most of them aren't. And if it's Stephen King done right, at least you have AC/DC.
All right. It says, so this is something I did not know. I'm not sure when he got this. I have to look some more on this, but Stephen King got his rights back in some. So he got his rights back in all these movies. So that's why we're going to see the Running Man, because that makes sense why it's more like the book or the story.
What is Running Man?
But what?
What is Running Man?
Did you not see the Richard Dawson, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Yeah, where he has to do the
I'm going to share the trailer for it.
It's
I know we were supposed to do it at the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like ranking, like the tier list. I never saw Running Man.
Hold on.
It's a good movie, but it's a bad adaptation.
It's a very bad adaptation, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. I won't give it. I will say it's fun. But it is a horrible adaptation. That's why when I saw that they were redoing it, I was like, "Oh, great! Here we go, another Total Recall or whatever." No, I'm really excited about this now. Hold on, I'm going to share this really quick.
Is it crazy that I actually thought that the Total Recall, the remake they did, wasn't that bad? If people give that undue shit.
I'm not going to say it was bad. Here's the thing: it's a Philip K. Dick story. We Sell Dreams Wholesale was the story, and if you've ever seen, if you ever read. Do Andor's Dream of Electric Sheep, which is what Blade Runner is so very, 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 very basically very loosely based on it. A lot of Philip K. Dick stories, Minority Report, all these other ones out there that they did, are not quite up to par. But so I was okay. I didn't hate the Total Recall remake, but I wasn't totally sold on it either. Okay, here. This is. Do you remember Richard Dawson from Family Feud, or have you ever seen that? The old Richard Dawson Family Feud clips.
I have.
No.
Okay, well, here.
In the year 2017, an innocent man
2017.
faced a hard time. Sensational, perfect contestant. I want him. He must pay or play the running man. I'll be back.
This is so Terminator face.
Show in history. Because they want us to stay.
Well, you know that they did that on purpose because he says it.
I was sold in the year 2017. I just
when you go back and watch these, it's like in the year 20. Like back when this came out, people were like, "Oh my god, that's like 20 years away. This could happen." And now here we are.
I'm still waiting for flying car.
Nothing has really changed, but like except like in the last
all right, really quick
years, like we've been able to talk on the internet, and that's it.
All right, just watch.
It's a game between life and death.
Of course. Rolling.
Give you a lift.
Even if we give you a lift, holy fucking shit!
I didn't even hear it very well. So
Schwarzenegger.
You can't go too much because I've been getting dinged. Really.
Yeah, I know. No. I'm pausing it every once in a while here because one of the things coming up if it's the trailer, I think it is. Richard Dawson was a great choice for this. The guy that they got for the new one, I'm like, I would have liked to find somebody a little better, but I'm okay with it.
So in this shot, like, did Arnold Schwarzenegger like lose his hand or something? There's blood everywhere.
That's not blood. It's a scarf. No, it's a net.
It looks like
it's a net that stops him. But the way Richard Dawson does his "let's get running," it's like Richard Dawson was perfect for this.
He's playing for a prize. The prize is his life.
Yeah.
How about a night?
Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Running Man.
All right, here. I'll come back here, but I'm gonna show you the difference. So
love it.
The big difference here is that the TV network thing is very much in Stephen King's. The Running Man TV show is a thing in Stephen King's. But what's funny is that they literally changed the whole thing back to what Stephen King had in his story. But at the same time, that the look of the game show is almost like they said, you know what? We like how they did it in the original movie. We're going to still do it this way. Because hold on. If you watch this, and Zod, have you seen this yet?
No, I've
right.
I've been fucking
watch the game show part of this, and you will say, my God, they just basically just did it the exact same way. It looks the flames, remember the flamethrowers they had? They do the same. It's like they said, you know what? They fucked up everything in this movie, but this looks perfect. We're going to still run with the stage the way it looks for the game. So basically the story of this is Richard, or what's his name? Whatever the main character's name is. His daughter's sick, and he has to find a way to pay for medicine and stuff, but nobody has jobs. He's been blacklisted. He can't get a job to get money to get medicine. This is just the way the world is. It's very horrible. It's dystopian. But there's this game called The Running Man, and you can go on. And if you go on, for every minute or every hour you live through it, your family gets money. But it runs for 30 days. You are on it for 30 days if you can make it that long. They have, I think it's 6 to 8 hunters, which are trained killers who have either won the past Running Mans, or they were handpicked by the station to come after you. But it's not just them. It is anybody who wants to take a shot at you or hold you down can get money for doing so. So everybody can be after you. And it's shown 24/7. So there's always something following you so they can film it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Survivor, but like times 20.
One person has to do it. So that was the other difference too. In the original one, it was like 3 or 4 contestants at one time.
Yeah. Which I like that change so far.
Yeah,
so
but here you
go. One.
Stop filming me!
Oh, okay.
All right. I mean, it looks exactly the same. Look at this. I mean, it's
wait. Okay, hold on. I know why this is going to be good. Little fun fact. I did not know he was the director. One of my favorite directors is directing this. Edgar Wright is fucking awesome.
Yes.
He's like one of the best horror directors.
But look at this. Look at this stage. It's like they said, you know what? The first movie was horrible, but that game show stage area is exactly what we're going to do.
Dude, Edgar Wright is a great director. If there's one person who will adapt something faithfully or aesthetically.
Well, Stephen King is a part of it too now. And I think that because they bought
that's a perfect match.
All right, here you go.
Announcer from the old one better.
What? Yeah,
like
that's what I said. I was trying to figure out who can get that's like Richard Dawson. Man, if George Carlin was still alive, he'd be really good for it.
Oh yeah, you need someone with a really big personality for that role.
Big personality and kind of douchebag. It's
I'd be perfect.
But I think and I would too. I mean, I think we both. A double billing would be Zod and Knight. I mean, Zod and the Ego. I mean, hey, there you go. Anyways,
you can have Justin in the crowd just fucking throwing shit and yelling at people.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be.
He's the network guy.
Oh, perfect.
But so I love that. I love this part right here, though. I'm not trying to get my.
Oh, this is kind of like the Hunger Games, but with a hot guy.
No. This is
no. With the marketing, with the marketing, a lot of people will who have no idea what the fuck this is going on.
No, a lot of older people actually probably are in our age.
I'm talking about people who have no idea what the fuck the Running Man is.
But that's not
a lot of people do, Justin.
Yeah, that's the thing. So here's the thing.
That's a lot of people who have no.
All right.
Well, when you think about, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you think about the Terminator. You don't think about the Running Man. So, people are going to be going in this.
Oh, yeah, you do. This is right. This was right when he was hot. He was really hot.
I know, but a lot of people are going to,
So this is right about where I got. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, the announcer of the show is not as good as Richard Dawson. I'm like, nah. But I did see the part where his daughter's sick and he needs to get medicine and stuff. I was like, okay, well, that's original. That's from the actual story. And then I saw this. I saw Survive 30 Days. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to actually do the real story for this. I was so happy.
Man.
And burn this building down. I promise. That's the
So right there is his, I'm going to come back and I'm going to burn everything down. So it's got that in it still.
Yeah, it's.
This is America, goddammit.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm going to give him a chance to play that. I'm going to want to see this and then go like, okay, he did a good job. He's not going to be Richard Dawson. There's no way he's going to be as good as Richard Dawson. But if he plays it his own way and he doesn't try to act like Richard Dawson, I will like it.
Yeah, I could see where.
Okay, fine. So you notice they have the hunters, the actual hunters. So they have the 5 hunters, which is like the original movie, but that was something they took from it too. But as he said, hunt him down. He's talking to everyone, anyone who gets him and can hunt him down can get money. See, so you see the guy in the car. He's just going. That's one of the hunters. But
have you ever wondered if this game is rigged? Guess we'll find out.
Pilots on a plane, anyone.
You're moving up too fast.
I do. Dude,
by the end of this, I was like, I am so ready for this.
I think I think this might be a movie we talk about when we talk about, because I've noticed Scotty's
I agree.
Trying to break in.
I do have to go.
Okay, I did too. But really quick, I want us to all agree on this before it comes out. So November 7th is when it's out. I didn't finish it, but there's not much actually here. Well, fuck it. Let's go back and just finish this 5 seconds of it. Right. Here, really quick. I will say this though. It's due out on November 7th. Go ahead. It's due out November 7th. I love that face and that beautiful. That's cool. It's due out November 7th. I say, depending on when I see it, because I might see it early. I'm saying like mid-October, we need to have a watch along with the original and then compare them and say which is which. And I will find a PDF version of his story, because I think it's one of the short stories like Maximum Overdrive was. And that's supposed to be getting remade because, again, he has rights to it. He directed the original one, and he was on cocaine and all crazed out.
Being done right.
But I think since he says he's going to redo it, I don't think he's going to direct it. I think he's going to get a better director, and I think they're going to put more time into it. He didn't have much money for it, but anyways, I say we watch this. I want you guys to read, if you haven't read the short story that this is based off of. I think it's 100 pages. Then we watch the original, we read it, and then we watch this, or we watch this at some point. Graphic.
All right, Chris. You got
see it.
you crazy?
That definitely, yeah. I'm definitely in for
You
that.
got the deal.
All
All right.
All right.
Anyways,
So,
guys.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
all right. So thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you. Check out my reviews, Chris. Anything on Chaos Central or anything like that?
We're doing our standard 3 shows a month again. We're going Monday. Every Monday we do a show. This is coming up Monday is going to be Danny Graham's show. It's Chaos Conversation. It's Chaos List, which we've been doing debates on. That's Onzo of Bigger Ford Entertainment. He does that the second Monday of every month. Third Monday of every month is my show. It's called The Rule of Three. We take 3 topics. And at the end of that, we have something called the Final 5 Fact or Fiction. It's 5 quick fire questions. All you get to do is say, is it going to be fact or is it fiction? And if you're right, you get a point. And we did a whole big thing, and Onzo won the first round of that. We're on to second round. Then every Sunday on my channel, The Real Review 3000, we're doing Jackbox Game Night. It's also called the weekly wrap up. We're going to be getting back to Name That Tune. We're going to be getting back to the Gospel According to Chris, which as soon as I get back, you know what, Zod, I'm going to have you on there. You were the first. I think you were on the first one of those. I'm going to have you back on when I come back. I want you to get back on there. We're going to have another great talk. I ask questions of my guests and stuff, and it's really about them. So we'll do that. And then we're going to get back to the Rumble. We're getting back to a lot of different stuff. I'm working on getting all that stuff in the background. I'm also in the process of moving soon. So I don't know if I'm going to wait till I move to do all that. But very soon, we're going to have that all back. So I'm really excited about all that. But thank you for having me tonight. I'm glad we did this. And then next Tuesday, we will be back, and I'll talk to you then.
Yes. Thank you. Join us next Tuesday. We're going to be doing the late night talks, and I've got a bunch of stuff coming. I've got my own Ironheart review coming out. I've got a bunch of stuff, and be prepared because I'm going to have my Superman review out. You know, but I have a lot to say. Maybe I'll invite Chris, and once it's been out, we can talk spoilers and give our non-filtered, non-spoiler thoughts. And I've got my Penny Dreadful. It just got re-uploaded. Please watch the video because I had to cut it down to like 7 minutes. I went through an awful battle with that. The next video, I'm probably going to do less of playing it in the background and just kind of fade in and out. So I'm trying different styles. They didn't ding me on my first episode one. They decided the second one to ding me. I don't know how the copyright system works.
I have a lawyer I'm working with to try to bring that shit to an end, by the way, just so you know.
That'd be helpful. But thank you everybody for watching. Chris, thank you for coming on. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone. You know what that rule is?
I'm the king. Thank you.